The first step to building something is to take two parts and stick them together. And there's a couple ways you can do this. So I'm just going to show you a couple. The first way is you can kind of stick them together like that. And then you could see the two parts here in the workspace, right? This one and that one. And you could press shift and then like click on the bottommost one and then press shift on your keyboard and click on the topmost one. So now you have both of them selected. And then if you go to model up at the top left corner, you could say union. So then now we've turned those two parts into a single part. And if you don't like the name union, you can call it like T block. You can give it whatever name you want. And now it's time to check to see if they're actually stuck together. So if we go to home and or test and we go to play, we can go and test it out and see if these blocks are actually stuck together, because sometimes you think they are, but they're not, right? So here we go. I push it over and you can see that they are stuck together, right? Okay. So if I stop this and then I come back and I control Z, or I'm pressing Command Z, I'm going to turn those two parts back into regular parts. So here's another way you could do this, is you can go to move. And so what you can do is we could put a surface on here, a weld surface. So if we go to model and you go to surface and you say weld, what weld is doing is it's like putting glue on one side of the surface. Okay. And so now that we welded that one part of the surface, and you could tell it's welded because it has the black lines, right? Then we can now move it to connect with the other block. But sometimes it doesn't connect, okay? And the reason why I can tell it's not connecting is because there's no white line around the connection area. And so maybe I can come over here to the properties window and I could turn my Can Collide off, and nope, we still don't get it. And so the reason why welding one side is not a good strategy to stick two parts together is because this side here and this side here need to be exactly parallel, okay? And sometimes they're not. And so like these two, they look like they're parallel, right? It looks like this side is touching this side. It looks like this side here is touching this side, but it's actually not. It's actually maybe off by like 0.5 of a degree, okay? And so if it's not exactly touching, then the weld won't work, okay? Normally we get a white line right here around the part that's connecting to the other part. So anyhow, that's not a good strategy, all right? Doing surface, weld, and then sticking a weld on one of the sides, and then taking the other part and trying to connect it to the first part, right? Although that does work at times, okay? So anyhow, let's not do that. And so what we're going to do is, let me go back in time a bit. Okay, what we're going to do, oh, that surface still has the weld on it. Okay, so I took the weld off of that surface. What we're going to do is we're going to turn Can Collide off. We're going to stick these two guys together. Okay, so like one is inside of the other. And now that they're stuck together, we can hit create. Okay, and sometimes this create icon is smaller. It's like small. It's like one of these smaller icons. So watch out for that. Okay, so one time I was looking, I couldn't find it. And it was because it was a small little version. There was 4 of these, and one of them was create. So you're going to hit the arrow next to create, and then you're going to click on weld. Oh, but I forgot. We need to first highlight both of the parts. So we highlight both of the parts, create, weld, and now you can see this green line here. That means these two guys are welded together. And so if I go ahead and hit test and play, then you can see that these two guys are welded together. Okay, and so you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, you showed me how to do this already using the union, so why should I do it using the weld? And so the reason why is because when you union, both parts turn into the same part. They both turn into one part. So if I'm over here trying to make my model, And on this part, I say my material is going to be foil, and my surface, or I'm sorry, my color is going to be red. So now I got a red foil piece there. And then over here on this other part, I want my material to be, say, concrete, or those two look a little too similar. Let's do brick. And then this one here, the color is going to be green, right? If I take this part and I move it into the first part, and then I highlight both of them, and then I union, then the colors still stay separate, but the surface, the material is the same. So you see this, I click on my union part, and the material for both of them are now brick. Okay, the color stays different on both of the parts, but the material stays the same. So union does that. It doesn't let you have two different materials, and you can't have two different materials because you're unioning them. You're making them into one part. So I guess it takes the bigger part. Or I'm not sure exactly how this works, but maybe it might take the part that you're moving into the first part and using that as the material for the entire part. Okay, so that's union. But if I go ahead and hit create and I hit weld, right, you could see that this is brick and this is, what was that material again? I don't know, I think it was concrete, I'm not sure, right? But these two are distinctly different materials. And so now if I go here and play it, then you'll see that we got this part stuck together. They're both different materials and different colors. Okay, so if I am giving a suggestion, I would suggest that you guys use Create to create or to stick your parts together. Okay, it's just a lot easier. So what you can do is you can create your different parts with different colors, different materials. Arrange them in such a way that you like it, right? Like maybe if it's a hover car or maybe it's a weapon, and then you can highlight all of your parts that you've put together or arranged together, and then hit create and then hit weld, and then you're good to go. It's all stuck together. And there are a couple of more aspects of building that you need to know about, and I'll go ahead and talk about that in the next video.